Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Paranormasight, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo, running on Nintendo Switch. Okay, old books. Don't mean to derail the conversation, but there's still more written in Iwai's journal. We know Iwai had managed to obtain the grimoire thanks to the advice he got from his idol, Nejima, while in prison. After conducting research and gathering more information, he determined he had a chance to get rich quick. Well, right, he thought he could make some money if he could successfully use rejuvenation magic. Correct. Turns out someone gave him the idea. Oh, little typo there. And get this. It was the one and only queen and chairwoman of Hihaku Soaps herself, Natsume Yamamori. Wait, the chairwoman of Hihaku Soaps? So, that's where this leads. Here, let me read what he wrote. The queen of Hihaku has a strange fear of growing old. Her fear of death is even worse. If she does die, she wishes to be revived, and she will spend whatever it takes to preserve her beauty. Magic, rituals, and rites, she will use whatever means necessary. Her tenacity is unbelievable. She was apparently investing money into any research on resurrection, the restoration of youth, and the like. So she would even throw her money at the occult. The places greed will take you. Well then, that brings us to Hideki Araishi. She presumably funded his research into the rite of resurrection as well. That's what it all points towards. I wouldn't be surprised if the witch of Hihaku pounced at the rumors of the rite of resurrection. It's starting to sound likely. It might also be why she's spreading the rumor about having godly powers. It's a convenient cover if she becomes young again. Godly powers? What's that about? You can ignore that. Either way, I think Iwai took the payments he was getting for his research to seduce a family into taking him in to keep a low profile. The Shiraishi family, Michio and her mother, Toshiko, were just his unlucky marks. And this is where you get involved. Are you feeling steady, ma'am? Huh? This has something to do with me? Are you saying that? What are you talking about? Are you saying that? No, you can't mean. You realize then. Perhaps. Living sacrifice? Was a child? Fumika Nejima's living sacrifice was a child? What? Man, please calm down. That wasn't it. I don't know. Oh? Was I mistaken? Then what did you mean? Man, please calm down. Iwai moved in with Shiraishi's the Shiraishis to practice his magic. He needed a sacrifice to perform his youth restoration spell, but that meant extracting the life force from someone young. Wait, isn't that just what I said? So, it was Iwai, this man. Iwai worshipped Nejima. Oh, I'm sorry. I confused Nejima with Iwai. Iwai worshipped Nejima, so he must have also despised Nejima's detractors. Not to mention he was captured and sent to jail once before. Surely he had a bone to pick with the police. So when he realized he had the chance to both avenge Nejima, embarrass the police, and acquire a living sacrifice at the same time? Fuck. You got it. Iwai kidnapped Haruo Shikama's son and managed to score 3 birds with 1 stone. You're telling me that horrid man, he never had the intention of returning my child? I thought there might be a reason why the kidnapper seemed to be mocking the police. He never wanted the money. His aim was to humiliate the force. It all makes sense. He must have used Michio to lower your boy's defenses and then kidnapped him on his way back home. That man, he took Suichi. Ma'am, please calm down. I understand, but you must remember to breathe.
You don't understand. You have absolutely no idea what I'm going through. This isn't a joke. I wouldn't expect the police to understand. You'll never understand. Living sacrifices? What a stupid, stupid idea from a stupid little man.
Okay, ma'am. Let's just take a moment to breathe. Why don't we go get some fresh air?
I can't believe this. This is...
Chief, I think it's best if we take our leave. But before we go, there's one more important piece of information noted in his journal. Oh? Iwai got in contact with Nejima last year, after Nejima was released on parole. He provided him with an accommodation and financial support. That's so. He managed to find a hideout for Nejima to stay in. Damn it. If anything, rather than use his money to support the Shiraishis, it seems most went to Nejima instead. If Nejima's lurking around anywhere at the moment, it's probably in that hideout. Did he write where it is? Unfortunately, no. Not that I can tell. But it seems Michio knew where it was. She never met with Nejima in person, but she was made to go in and clean up among other things. What good is that information? The girl's already dead. Wait, no. She's alive. That's right. Michiro Shiraishi is alive. If you can find her and get her to talk, you can get her to spill the beans on his hideout, too. Investigator, I'm asking you. I should be going. The lady's not well. What an interesting turn of events, huh? Well, this is a really well done story. Kankichiro Iwai, male, unemployed. The common-law husband of Michio Shiraishi's mother, Toshiko Shiraishi. Kankichiro started coming and going from the Shirai household a little over a year ago. It seems he has served some time in prison, but the details are unknown. His deceased body was discovered at the Shiraishi home. Kankichiro once made a living by placing advertisements in magazines to sell phony magic items and good luck charms. He held nostalgic learning for the post-war era when things and people were simple, and has nothing but negative things to say about the rapidly developing, ostentatious world of late. Radical in his belief that it would be better to tear down society and start over again, Kankichiro was discontent with his life spent poking around in society's cesspools to make a few coins. When the Nejima murders were widely reported in the media, it had a great impact on Kankichiro, as he witnessed how a single act by a single man could cause a major rift in society. Perceiving Fumichika Nejima as a great hero, he began collecting every piece of information he could find on the man. Kankichiro was later arrested for his illegal business practices, and a chance meeting with Fumichika during his incarceration solidified his idolization. He was captivated by Fumichika's talk of black magic, and following his release, acquired the grimoire Fumichika had hidden away. As for Toshiko Shiraishi, Kankichiro set his sights on her after encountering her at her part-time job. When he learned that the Shiraishi family was in financial trouble and could not afford to send Michio to college, he turned on the charm and took advantage of her weakness by offering them money. He revealed his true colors, however, after moving in with the family, and used violence and money to keep Toshiko and Michio under his thumb. All the while, his belief in black magic deepened, and he found a sponsor in the Hihako Corporation. Kankichiro forced the Shiraishi family to perform various rituals, with any attempts to resist being met with merciless beatings. The mother and daughter were helpless to resist. After Hihiko offered Kankichiro great sums to intensify his work with black magic, he set his mind to sacrificing a child in order to perform a youth restoration spell. For this purpose, he chose Suichi Shigema, the son of Hadoe Shigema, against whom Fumichika held a grudge. He attempted to enlist Michio so as not to alarm the boy, and when she resisted, he beat her mother 20 times. With Michio's assistance, Kankichiro kidnapped Suichi and locked him up in the Shiraishi house, and told the young and courageous boy that he'd kill Michio if he tried to run. While his actions were motivated by a personal grudge against the police, it was first and foremost an attempt to create a societal uproar and breakdown in public order. So Kankichiro painted the crime as a regular kidnapping, demanding a ransom from the family. However, because of an embargo on the press, the kidnapping did not cause a public outcry akin to that of the Nejima murders. Infuriated, Kankichiro had Toshiko perform the sacrifice ritual by threatening to kill Michio if she refused. Toshiko killed Suichi in his sleep, but the spell failed, for which Kankichiro blamed her. Warning Michio to keep silent about the murder to avoid incriminating her mother, Kankichiro dumped the boy's body in a nearby river. The tiny corpse was found a week later in the Sumida River after floating through several canals in Honjo. Having drifted for days in the polluted waters, little evidence remained. Although Kankichiro performed no further sacrifices, his devotion to black magic only increased. Toshiko and Michio spent their days consumed by guilt, forced to continue serving Kankichiro until the day they died. Well, well. Are you feeling better now that we've gotten some fresh air, ma'am?
I'm fine. Suddenly finding out who the kidnapper was really made me lose my wits.
We managed to solve the kidnapping case by pure luck here.
You're right. But Richter, I feel grateful towards Michio.
Because she killed the kidnapper?
There's that too. But it's for something else. If Michio is the one killing all these people, then she must have acquired quite a sizable amount by now. Soul dregs, I mean. Ugh. Hey, Richter. Whether the kidnapper's dead or alive, it doesn't mean a thing. Revenge won't bring my boy back. And if Nejima is planning to cause a massacre to collect soul dregs, then all the better. I won't give up on resurrection. So, I'm counting on you.
There is something a little wrong with Haruwe. I mean, for lots of good reasons. She's gone through a fair amount of tragedy, but boy, she is just a little bit off kilter, to say the least. The Red Resurrection is the inception of this whole affair. Yako and Mio decide to confront the man responsible for spreading rumors of it in the first place, Hideki Hiraishi. They find him at his frequent stomping grounds at the Kurokikyu Cafe. Yako Sakazaki, 12 p.m. High noon. Kurokikyu Cafe. Oh, hey, there's a sticker. You know, normally you'd be breaking school rules just by stepping foot in a cafe. I'll be in hot water if you lied about having permission from the police. Remember that.
We know. It'll be okay.
So, what did you want to ask me?
Don't think I didn't see that sticker.
Mockingbird 8 discovered. I don't think I need to read about that stuff. I mean, really.
A cafe. I've never been to one before. How exciting. It's pretty smelly inside because of the cigarette smoke, but...
Let's see. Kurokiko Cafe, a coffee shop on South Wadagashi Street. Kurokiko Cafe's convenient location has made it a favorite of businessmen in the neighborhood. Although formerly a relaxing location where classical and jazz music were played, the cafe has begun incorporating some pop songs into its playlist at the request of its customers. The most popular menu item is a pilaf served with black coffee, although cream soda topped with a large scoop of ice cream is also a popular choice. Fashionable cafes featuring jazz and live performances were in vogue until the mid-Showa era, when the number of cafes offered a carefully brewed cup of coffee in a relaxed atmosphere began to increase. Many of these locations also have public telephones, making them convenient meeting places. However, they also developed a reputation as hangout spots for delinquents, leading a large number of schools to forbid their students from patronizing them. In recent years, table arcade games have become a big hit, affording cafes installing them a steady stream of customers. About my curse stone.
Yako, if you would. Right, we wanted to ask you about this.
Oh my, a curse stone. An Okami mask. That must mean the fool's procession. You two were at the school last night. Damn, There of all places. Yako, you're one of them. You're a curse bearer.
Please calm down, Mr. Araishi. Your reaction is too intense. It's kind of scaring me.
Sorry about that. I'm afraid I got ahead of myself. What is it you wanted to know about your curse stone? What would be the best way to approach him? We'll flatter him.
It's just, a brilliant teacher like you must know an awful lot about these curse stones.
Well, it's true that I'm likely the person most well versed in this matter.
You're the only one who we can count on, Mr. Araishi. Won't you help us, please?
Oh, am I now? In that case, there's no harm hearing what you have to ask.
Thank you. Let's see. Why is everything with the rite of resurrection and 7 mysteries curse stones happening now?
Taken an interest now that you've received one of the curses, have you? You sound like a researcher starting your questioning with your subject's origins.
Mr. Araishi, you're not the one who triggered the curse, are you?
No, I'm afraid I have nothing to do with that. Rather, I wasn't even attempting to do so in the first place. Completing the rite itself has nothing to do with my research.
Then, do you know of the ancient Honjo ritual known as the Feast of Shadows?
What is that? Something from the occult? Miss Kurosuzu. Kurosuzu. Is that right? Yeah. Miss Kurosuzu. Kurosuzu. Yeah. You look like the type to be interested in those things, but it's outside my field of expertise.
In that case, why do you think the rite and curses have appeared now? I believe this is the intentional work of someone.
It's certainly not something that would happen by accident. What is it you want to know?
Well, he may not tell us anything else if we say that we're trying to stop the curse. We need to make something up. Right.
Make something up.
Well, you see, we just have such intellectual curiosity, and think it could really help your research.
I see. Now that you mention it.
Seems like he's reluctant to answer. Then how about...
Oh. Kind of hard to say which one is the right answer. Thankfully, there are saves. Act disappointed? A little pouting never hurt.
Oh, we figured you would know since you're smart. How disappointing.
How dare you? You make it sound like I'm stupid. You couldn't be more wrong. Do you realize how devoted I am to this research? Allow me to first elucidate to you regarding the author of the Record of Fates. A special privilege, I might add, since I have yet to publish this in the paper.
Yeah, okay.
The Record of Fates was written 200 years ago in the latter half of the Edo period. It was written by a skilled but little-known omnyoji called Seiman Tsuchimikado. Oh boy, these names. This is important stuff. If nothing else, remember this.
Seiman Tsuchimikado? I've never heard of him.
I'm sure you haven't. He was born into a famed omyoji family, but split away to practice forbidden arts in secret. He used whatever name he was most convenient for the situation, so his real name barely exists in records. Or so it was written in the Record of Fates. As brilliant as Simon was, he was also an eccentric. He delved into researching the Rite of Resurrection, a legendary forbidden ritual that had never been completed. However, by involving himself with this forbidden ritual, he was expelled from his family, and eventually found himself in Honjo and Edo. The Record of Fates are the writings of Simon recorded on the road to Edo.
I see. So, he wrote how to perform the rites itself?
The Rite of Resurrection makes use of the Abe no Saimei specialty, the Taizen Fukon ritual, a means of communicating with the afterlife. It uses soul dregs to replicate the soul of a dead spirit that has been called.
Oh wow, I never knew something like that existed.
Thus, it is thought the only ones who can use it are the ones with the ability to turn the human souls into soul dregs in the first place. So the Rite of Resurrection calls for that ritual to be performed in advance. Then, when the soul dregs are gathered and infused with the wish of whoever is performing the ritual, it can be completed. The contents written in the Record of Fates ends there. There's no more? What about the 7 mysteries of the Curse Stones? There's nothing written about them in the Record of Fates. The Curse Stones are separate from the Rite of Resurrection. Their curse is one used to enable one who is unable to perform such rituals to be able to use the rite. Huh, that's similar to what Mio said, actually. Myoji. I think it's easier when I see the characters. The romanization is a little funky. An official appointed government position with the Bureau of Onmyo in medieval Japan. Onmyoji were tasked with performing divinations and rituals. They would employ the Chinese philosophies of yin and yang and wuxing, the 5 elements, to compose astronomical charts and almanacs. High-ranking practitioners used a variety of mystical arts, including ones that brought natural disasters and curses. Myoji were also tasked with exorcising demons through the usage of shikigami. Myoji thrived through the Heian period, in part due to the work of the famous Myoji and later founder of the Tsuchimikado clan, Abe no Saime. However, Myoji began to gradually decline in number after the samurai gained control of Japan. At the same time, many of their miraculous arts were lost along with the development of civilization. Although the services of Myoji were typically reserved for the upper class, there were a number of shomyoji, or hidden Myoji, who worked for the common folk. How are the 7 mysteries related to the rite? Excuse me, Mr. Arashi? What is it, Miss Kurasuzu? You published a theory before the incident took place. It said that the Rite of Resurrection and origin of the 7 mysteries of Honjo are related somehow. What proof do you have of that? You really know your stuff. What about that? That was a somewhat sensationalized piece written for occult magazines. Oh, really? It was just nonsense then? Not exactly, rather. It's not a complete fabrication. There is a basis for it. And that is? Well, I suppose there's no harm in telling a couple of students so passionate about this topic. Thank you. This is something I discovered from referencing numerous texts unrelated to the Record of Fates. It was just after Simon arrived in Honjo. There are records of a conflict over a ritual used to resurrect the dead in Honjo. A conflict over resurrecting the dead? I don't know the details. A man enticed the public with claims of a spell that could resurrect the dead, causing a conflict that ended tragically with 9 dead. That is the only remaining reference. 9 people fighting over a resurrection ritual. I call this tragedy the Honjo incident, and it has long been a subject of my research. And I suspect that this Honjo incident might be the very origin of the 7 mysteries of Honjo. So what you're saying is, the resurrection ritual at the root of the Honjo incident is Simon's rite of resurrection. Yes, that is how the Record of Fates ties everything together. To put it in chronological order, first Simon brought the rite of resurrection to Edo. We can assume that by this point Simon was likely using a different name. Then in Honjo, 9 people fought to the death over this rite, the Honjo incident. After that, the incident was covered up by an interested party, preventing it from being recorded in history fully. Eventually, it was passed down in incomplete pieces, becoming known as the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. That's more or less the course of events. The Honjo incident. During the Edo period, a chain of events that occurred around a certain resurrection spell became the basis for the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. So, that's how they're connected. Then, if I'm getting this right, the 7 mysteries were basically required to gather the soul dregs necessary for the rite. How are the 7 mysteries related to the rite? And there's more. With this most recent occurrence of the curse, I've become even more confident in my theory. You are? Yes, the reason for it being the resentful memories of the 7 mysteries etched into those who receive the curse stones.
Resentful memories?
Yako, if you really are a curse bearer, then when you obtained your curse stone, you would have had a resentful memory imprinted in your mind.
Oh, I did.
Exactly. Those memories are what happened in the final moments of the 9 who died in the Honjo incident. Broadly speaking, they involved dying while bearing some kind of deep resentment. The 9 victims became the 9 curse echoes, which over time came to be spoken of as the 7 mysteries, thus gathering the resentful memories granted by the present curses and connecting them together. It will reveal once and for all what happened during the Honjo incident. That's why you must tell me about the resentful memory of your fool's procession, Yako.
Mio, should I... Yeah, I think it's okay. We all need the information we can get, or we need all the information we can get.
Tell him about the resentful memory.
Okay, Mr. Arashi, I'll tell you about the memory of the fool's procession.
Excellent. So basically it's about a woman who died falling from a Yagara tower at a festival. Huh, interesting. It's not that one. It's not that one then.
Not that one? What do you mean?
Among the 9 victims at the Honjo incident, that is to say, the 9 curse echoes, one of them is Seisman himself, or so I suspect.
Huh? Simon was one of the victims of the Honjo incident too? Meaning an Onmyoji, as powerful as him, also became a curse echo?
Right. It would make sense that the curse stone tied to a curse echo like that would be special.
The power of a curse stone is different based on the curse echo? Mio! Maybe with Seisman's curse echo we could... Yes, we may be able to settle this whole situation.
Hey, what are you two whispering about?
Oh, nothing, sorry.
About resentful memories.
Mr. Arashi, how many of the resentful memories have you gathered so far?
I've learned a number of them. The Evergreen Beach, the Foot-Washing Mansion, the Ever-Burning Lantern, and now the Fool's Procession makes 4. Of those, the most important are the Foot-Washing Mansion and the Evergreen Beach.
Huh? What are they about?
First, the Foot-Washing Mansion. An Onmyoji appears distinctly in this one.
Really?
But not Seisman, I'm afraid. A female Onmyoji who sought the right of resurrection due to her obsession with her personal appearance. Her legs, which she had always taken pride in, were stricken with corruption after she was defeated by Simon. Her curse echo is notable for being particularly easy to fulfill the requirements necessary to use the curse. That detective did well to escape this one.
So, a female Onmyoji and a rival of Simon were involved in the Honjo incident.
That certainly is interesting. Next, the Evergreen Beach. This curse echo is from a craftsman of Netsuke carvings named Jinkichi, who was hanged for spreading baseless rumors. He apparently spoke of something that granted the ability to bring back the dead.
The right of resurrection.
Precisely. This man, Jinkichi, must have been in contact with Simon. If I could just collect all of the memories, everything will be revealed, and the truth of the 7 mysteries will be mine. That is the knowledge I desire.
Meaning you need to gather as much information as you can from the curse bearers.
Precisely. I have an agreement to exchange information with those detectives, but they might not even find the other curse bearers, so I must take measures on my own. What's the trigger for the curse to occur?
Another thing.
Yes?
You never really finished about what the trigger for all of this was.
Well, I don't know.
Really? You're not hiding something from us, are you? It has something to do with how you obtained the Record of Fates, right?
Huh?
How did you really get a hold of the Record of Fates? To tell you the truth, we were in a race against time. It would be a disaster if we don't hurry.
What are you talking about?
Someone left a warning that at sundown today they would use the curse to kill a lot of people. The one who left that message is the culprit behind the Nejima murders from 20 years ago.
What? Something so terrible will happen?
I won't allow potentially hundreds of people to become victims of a curse. I'll do anything in my power to stop it. Mr. Arashi, please, tell us everything you know.
I'm sorry, but I truly don't know anything. The truth is, I was given the record of fates by a woman.
A woman?
Well, her voice sounded like a woman's, but I didn't actually see what she looked like. 1 month ago, while I was investigating at night, I suddenly heard a formless voice.
A woman's voice.
It said, I entrust you with this ancient manuscript and the right of resurrection held within its pages. Spread rumors of this ritual as far and wide as you can in the coming month. And before I knew it, an old document had fallen down at my feet.
1 month. She specified the time period.
I was told if I did that, I could study the manuscript as much as I pleased. I wanted so badly to verify its authenticity, I ended up accepting. I hadn't heard anything from the voice since then.
They must have had you spread rumors in order to strengthen the power of this curse, to tie together the curse and desire to seek out the right. This makes it likely that the owner of the voice is the mastermind behind all this.
Hence, I went public with the record of fates. Hihaku and occult magazines immediately jumping at the news was a financial boon for me.
Huh? Hihaku? As in Hihaku soaps?
Right. I mean, no, that's not important. Just some personal business. After that, I waited, trying to predict what would occur in a month's time. That's when the curse began. Those are all the details I have. Is there anything else you know?
Yeah.
Very well. I've told you this much. I might as well give you one more thing.
Thank you. What might that be?
About Simon's Record of Fates. There is some sort of continuation to it. Another document called the Record of Fates, Yin Scroll.
A continuation?
Actually, a section written in Simon's own hand was appended to the manuscript. According to which, after the Honjo incident, Simon lamented such a calamity taking place. He apparently wrote the addendum for the event that the tragedy become its own curse. It seems he had an idea that the victims of the Honjo incident would turn into curse echoes and be used to gather soul dregs. It supposedly details how to handle any trouble that occurs as a result of the rite of resurrection.
Really? Hold on a second. Did you find that strange? Or don't you find that strange?
What's the matter, Miss Sakazaki? You think my information is inaccurate?
If Seisman died in the Honjo incident, then he couldn't have written an addendum.
You really don't get it, do you?
Huh? Am I wrong?
Have you forgotten the ability Seisman possessed?
Of course not. He could use the right of resurrection. Oh. You're telling me Seisman used it on himself?
The rite of resurrection can be carried out in advance so that it activates when the soul dregs are gathered together. Then it is not possible that Seisman himself was resurrected by the rite after it all took place. Or then is it not possible that Seisman himself was resurrected by the rite after it all took place?
But he still had to collect the soul dregs needed to use the rite.
Yes, and that's why they died, the 8 others besides Seisman.
What? They died in the Honjo incident for their soul dregs? That sounds like it's the same as what's happening now.
That's why I need the resentful memories, to learn the truth.
I get it now.
The issue at hand is that the Yin Scroll and the Record of Fates were supposed to have been passed down as a set. When I received the Record of Fates, the Yin Scroll was gone. Only this information was left. Supposedly, Seisman's blood descendants guarded it as they passed it down across generations. It seems that over their long history, the 2 documents became separated and the scroll's location lost as the family line branched.
Simon had descendants? So there's someone out there related to him by blood even now.
Yes. In fact, I've tried to trace that line as far as I could. He wasn't a well-known onmyoji to begin with, so a detailed family tree does not exist. It seems like the use of the manuscript has been long forgotten, only being passed down out of tradition. And since they aren't even aware of what they have, tracking it down is quite tricky indeed. I wish I could ask whoever that voice belonged to about the Yin Scroll.
I'm sure you do. So basically, in the Record of Fate's Yin Scroll, Simon himself wrote about ways to handle the curse and the right, yes?
Yes, that's right. I've been searching for it all this time, but haven't found a single lead. Wait, hold on a minute. So if you do find out anything about the other resentful memories or Yin Scroll, tell me immediately. You owe me that much for telling you all this, do you not? That's the real extent of everything I know. Okay, the Records of Fate Yin Scroll. It is said that Simon Tsuchimikado, author of the Record of Fates, wrote the Yin Scroll because he feared that the descendants of those involved in the Honjo incident might become cursed and used in the collection of soul dregs for the rite of resurrection. The existence of the Yin Scroll was indicated in a postscript added to the Record of Fates, but its whereabouts are currently unknown. It is believed to have been inherited by a descendant of Simon.
Yes, I understand. Thank you for your help.
If you bring me some useful information, I'll take it into consideration for your school grades as well. Yako Sakazaki, 1 p.m. Boy, the story is really fascinating. I'm very impressed by the way it's kind of wound together. Street.
Well, we learned a lot. So, to sum it up, there was a tragic incident with people cursing each other for the rite of resurrection in the Edo period as well. And the Record of Fates Yin Scroll may have info we want, since it details how to stop the rite. I think that's about it. Right. If we could just find the Yin Scroll, we might be able to learn how to settle the situation. But even Mr. Araishi didn't have any leads on where it is. How do we start looking for it? Someone involved in this must have some connection to it, I think. I have a feeling the mastermind who awakened the curses is involved too. Right.
About the mastermind.
Whoever's behind that voice that gave Mr. Araishi the Record of Fates, that must be the mastermind, don't you think? Yeah, and he said it sounded like it belonged to a woman. Whoever it is, I bet they're scary. Huh? You don't sound like the Yako I know. Then let's catch him and make him spill the beans. I thought you'd say something like that. Really? I guess I'm just not really feeling that confident right now. I understand. I don't know if it's related to that woman behind the voice, but I'm also interested in the female Omyoji who was a rival of Simon.
Wait, hold on.
Let's see, about the nearby area. Oh, that reminds me, Mio. You know what's nearby here, don't you? Hmm? Oh, you mean where Michio... Yeah, where it happened. I was going there every day to leave flowers, even though they always get cleared away anyways. I'm sure it must be hard to have to be reminded of Michio's death all the time. Oh, that reminds me, Yako? Yeah? When you asked me to do the spirit board 2 days ago, did you come here that day too? Yeah, I left some flowers before going to school. Why? Did anything seem different that day? What's this all of a sudden? Though, now that you mention it, that day I suddenly felt lightheaded and ended up passing out for a little bit. But I came to right away and felt fine, so I didn't think anything of it. I see. That's all I was wondering about, thanks. So, or about what to do next. So, Mio, what are we going to do next? Good question. It may be best to give the information we have just learned to Inspector Tsutsumi. We've got a pretty big clue from hearing about the Record of Fates Yin Scroll. Mr. Tsutsumi might know more about it. Should we go back to the school then? Yeah, that's our point of contact after all. Excuse me, you girls over there. Whoa.
Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but something you said caught my attention.
And who might you be?
I'm Yutaro Namagaki. I should probably tell you. Until yesterday, I was a curse bearer. That should clear things up.
A curse bearer?
Oh, you don't need to be scared. I've already given up the curse stone of the foot-washing mansion.
The foot-washing mansion? So, you're the one Inspector Sutsumi was talking about.
Ah, you already know Inspector Sutsumi. That makes it simple. There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, hey. You're in the driver's seat. Yako? Yes. Wait, what?
Wait a minute. So he killed Michio. Was it an accident? Then that other girl was the passenger, which is why they're partners in crime, because she kind of holds something over him.
Just now, Was I doing something? Sorry, Mr. Namagaki. What might be the matter?
Right. I actually wanted to discuss something with you two. Would you come with me if you have a little time?
Discuss something? With us?
You were talking about Michio Shiraishi, right? It's related to that.
Huh?
I'm sure you would learn a few things yourselves. If not now, later is fine. I'll be waiting around Ryogoku Bridge.
Something rubbed me the wrong way about this, but he mentioned Michio. What do we do?
Oh, I mean, I probably wouldn't talk to him right away. He obviously has some sort of nefarious motive. Go to the school first.
Sorry, but there's something we've got to take care of. We'll have to pass.
Is that so? Oh, really? Does he have another curse? I mean, he doesn't have the foot washing mansion. Or maybe he does, still. Well, that's too bad. I'm in no rush, so I'll be waiting at Ryogoku Bridge if you change your minds. Okay, let's follow the detectives. Tetsuo Sutsumi, 1 p.m. Komagata High School.
Boss, I just talked to the Sumida police.
Well, what now?
They found an abandoned van in the Chiba Mountains that looked like it'd been in an accident. They couldn't lift any fingerprints from it, but they found blood splatters on the front. And guess what? The blood is a perfect match for Michio's.
Oh ho! So it must be the van that hit Michio.
You got it. It's all thanks to Yoshimi that we were able to find that out. The license plate had been removed, though, and they even scraped off the vehicle's identification number. It'll take a while to identify the owner. Now they're trying to figure out if the van was sighted anywhere between the scene of the crime and where it was dumped.
Got it. Thanks for the report. He still doesn't look tired after all this running around. Wish I still had all that stamina. It's nice that we got permission to use the school as our base of operations. The principal and head teacher were a little reluctant at first, but they were convinced they'd help in the investigation. Dealing with all this must be a real headache for those guys. I should thank them again later. I should look around for some stickers in case there's many stickers around. Look at that. Mockingbird number 15.
By the way, boss, we've confirmed that Michio died in a vehicular collision. But are we sure that it was really an accident?
Good question. I was wondering the same thing.
The damage done by the collision indicates that the driver was traveling at a considerable speed, but there were no brake marks to be found.
Exactly, which suggests they may have been intentionally targeting Michio. Then what was the motive, you think?
Who would have reason to kill Michio? The first person that comes to mind is Kankichiro Awai. After all, she knew about his crimes. But then Awai was supposedly able to control Michio by intimidation alone.
There's also that teacher who was taking advantage of Michio, Kohei Jinoichi. But to say he killed her to stop people from finding out that he was blackmailing her doesn't seem likely somehow. You're right. Though both of them have fallen prey to her curse. That's true. In that case, it's quite possible she'll also decide to exact revenge on the person who ran her over. Not just possible, she may have already done it last night, just like with the Y. Is there anything else that could have served as a motive? That talisman maybe? The one Yoshimi was looking for? Oh, do you think someone wanted to take it from her? Well, the talisman wasn't found in her remains, nor in her house. But doesn't a hit and run seem like too drastic a measure to go for a little talisman? Then in the end, it might have just been an unfortunate accident after all. Yeah, it looks that way. Either way, what we need now is a testimony from Michio herself. With a bit of luck, we may be able to ask her what happened during that crash ourselves. Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that particular development. I still have my doubts that it'll be so easy. Either way, we won't be able to do this unless Mio and Yako turn up. I'd rather have them come sooner than later, but I guess we'll just have to wait. Shall we head inside? Alright then. Guess we still can't rule out the possibility that Michio did commit suicide. She was so young, and all the adults in her life did was push her around. Boss, I thought we were going away from Mio in the school. Yeah, let's go. Alright, let's go wait inside the school. I'm sure they'll be here any moment. I did send them there. Alright, why don't we stop that there? This is audap. You've been watching Paranormasight, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo, running on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, once again, I really suggest folks pick this up for themselves. It's incredibly well done and a very, very interesting plot with some good plot twists. So check it out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.